Well, it's that time again. It's Jiao Shi, and we are moving steadily through the solar cycles. And we are still in Jīng Zhé, and Jīng Zhé is going to be finishing on March 20th of the Gregorian calendar. And then we move into the Chun Fun period, which is the vernal equinox, where the West finally agrees on the official time of spring. And this vernal equinox has the equal length of day and night. So with Chun Fun, we now can see the planet is on its equilibrium. And as you begin to see the spring changes really be in full bloom. So now we'll finish the first stage of spring, which is spring one, as we call it in the 24 solar cycles. We have Li Chen, Yu Shui, Jing Zhe, and we're moving into spring two at the vernal equinox at a Chun Fun. So as we move into that particular energetic expression, we now can see we're in the fourth installment of the 6 parts of the spring cycle of the 24 solar cycles. So let's start taking a look at how the trends are moving through this solar cycle and in this weekend. So you can see here in Florida, we're steadily getting back up to our warm temperatures from 68 around February 16th to 73, 82, 88. And then today's high is going to be 87. But we can also see in the northern latitudes, Montreal is going to also warm up from 24 on February 17th to 19th area in the period of Yushui. And it started to dip down to 18. But then right around March 2nd, it went back up to 40, then now 45. And then it moved into what it's going to be today. The temperature high is going to be 43. So we can see how around the world things are starting to warm up in the northern hemisphere. So then as we move into the temperature lows, we're now getting to the higher temperatures in the southern latitude, closer to the equator. And we moved in Orlando from 59 all the way to 73 and 67 respectively as of tonight's low. So we're starting to get that Florida weather, and where we're not so cool at night, we're back into our Florida type of warm weather. Now, why is this happening? As I always go through, we look at the different latitudes, and we always start with southern China. That's where they did the measurements at. But as we move through the latitudes, you can see it's respective of certain areas of our portion of the globe. Here in Orlando, we're just south of DeLand, where DeLand runs through southern China, as well as St. Augustine, which is slightly north of us, runs through Cairo, and then other areas of the globe like Ningbo, and then just north of that, Brunswick, Georgia, runs straight through Wuhan and Sichuan. So these latitudes actually have similar types of environmental and energetic expression. And that's why I use this concept of helping you understand moving through the solar cycles. We now can get our bodies ready to transition to whatever period that we need to be in and get our bodies ready because small wins are big wins. We move steadily either towards one solar cycle or another solar cycle. Our pores either get more open or more closed, and now we can get the result that we're getting, the maximizing of our particular body's efficient engine. So as we see that we also have the northern latitudes, which is 35 degrees, 40 and 45 degrees respectively. And this is synonymous with Xi'an, China, which is the actual original ancient capital of China. And then Beijing, which is now the capital. And this is synonymous with Charlotte and Albuquerque, New Mexico, Philadelphia and Denver, Colorado, and the Minneapolis and Portland areas. And you can see that they're having similar type of weather patterns as we see the highs and lows of the temperature. And as things start to warm up on the planet, you begin to understand how things work and then how to prepare your particular body as it goes through the solar cycles. So where are we in the solar cycles? We're still in spring, and we're about to move into the spring equinox or vernal equinox, the period of Chunfun. So as you can see, we're getting more and more into spring, getting ready for the first day of summer. So we still have some periods to go through, like clear and bright or gray and rain, before we actually start to move into the summer period. So as we begin to see what's happening, then now we can prepare ourselves as we move into these periods. And once you know your particular body types, as that's a wonderful thing to get yourself and your family members' body type, you can move into each of these periods and not be taken by surprise because you're moving day by day into them, and small wins are big wins. So if you're a yang body type, what we're going to be talking about today is papaya. Papaya. Then if you're a yin body type, we're going to be talking about a blackberry. So we've already gone through two other fruits, and let's take a look at what your experiences have been. And then now we're going to move on as of next week into the new period. Then you're going to start with either papaya or blackberry. So let's start talking about papaya. And papaya is a treetop fruit, and it strengthens the spleen and stomach. So this is a digestive fruit, and it has a lot of enzymes in it according to Western medicine. And the first stage of digestion is enzymatic. So it promotes that energy production. So then now it helps with and aids in digestion, clear summer heat, which means that if your body gets a little bit too acidic and it starts to heat up, then now this will actually help regulate that function. Because it's a fruit, it also lubricates, but it actually goes into a central location in the upper part of the body, which is the lungs. So as it's aiding in digestion, it's also lubricating the lungs. And if the lungs get too dry or too irritated, then because of that lubrication, it can stop what we call the rebellious qi, the adverse flow of what the lungs should be doing. We say that the lungs in ancient Chinese medicine, classical Chinese medicine, and traditional Chinese medicine descends and disperses. So if it's doing that abnormally, what will it do? Ascend and collect. And then that's where you get the presentation of cough. So then now if you have that presentation and you need to restore that descending and dispersing, then now you regulate that with what? Papaya. And then now the body can alleviate that particular symptom. So then also we talked about the body's irritated, then this can aid in any type of irritability. So as we move forward into the next phase of the solar cycle, all of you yang types out there start to just experiment and put papaya in your diet and see what energy expression your body does as it moves forward into that new solar cycle. So if you're a yin type, then now we can start to experiment with blackberries. And that's one of my favorite because I grew up eating lots of blackberries. And so we have it tonifies the liver and the kidneys. And the liver and the kidneys actually have great function in Chinese food therapy. We say the kidneys store the Jing and the liver stores the blood. So, and the source of the yin and the yang is in the kidneys. So when you see here that it says tonifies the liver and the kidneys, now you can see the next function. It tonifies the blood, which the liver stores, and tonifies the yin, which one of the kidneys generate. So this is why this blackberries is such an important fruit to stimulate that particular expression and function. And then it can also astringe essence. The essence of the body can now be protected because it's not leaking out. It's not being drained out. It's not being what? Released prematurely, or it doesn't have a weak part of your body. And if your body is weak, then what? We can actually strengthen it with blackberries. So then now, if everything is moving downward flow in the lungs, that's beneficial. But if it's moving too much downward out of the bladder, then that's when you can start leaking essence. So then now, what do? We're also wanting to have the proper control of the urinary flow. So blackberries also astringes urination so that you have that proper bladder control, as well as when you have strength in your liver, in your kidneys, and your astringent essence, guess what happens to your vision? We say the liver opens to the eye. So now we're tonifying the liver function. This brightens the eyes and improves the vision. So now you can see why we have the related types of functioning when we're eating blackberries. They're all related to each other, tonifying the liver and the kidneys, brightening the eyes, improving the vision, then astringing urination, and then urination control. So as we see, we move through these particular types of functions with ease because why? We're supporting the functions with this particular fruit. So it looks like we don't have any questions for today, but I'd like to remind all of you to get your consult with me now. If you're having any symptoms, indications, or conditions, we call that the sick consult. So you can come online virtually with me and we can go through your symptoms, indications, or conditions. And then I can recommend different types of interventions that will help you restore your body back to its function. And also, remember to get body type. The body type system is great for prevention. What you learn there is what your body's needs are and what the do's and don'ts for your specific body type. That your body is always at its optimal health, and you are now the best you can possibly be for your particular unique situation. So I'm Jiao Shi, and I will see you all next time.